Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. GoodTimesWithScar here, and welcome back to the wonderful worlds of hermits and crafting. And we are flying right on through Skylandia, dodging and weaving skyscrapers. And it is great to be back here once again, looking at all of our buildings and all of our trees, which of course is going to be the subject matter of today's episode. But like I said, it's great to fly back through here. There's so many fun things to just dodge and weave under VTOLs. Oh, no. I hit it. Oh my gosh. But anyway, like I said, guys, it's so great to be back and welcome back. And if you're excited as I am for another HermitCraft episode, hit that like button and let's do a little bit of talking here. So I do want to apologize for not having HermitCraft videos for maybe almost 2 weeks now. With the start of Foolcraft, I wanted to get going on that, so it kind of took a little bit of time away. And then unfortunately, I got knocked out a little bit. My neuromuscular disease kind of kicks me in the butt once in a while. It's been a little while since that last happened, thankfully, of course. And I believe it was maybe January was the last time. And sometimes it just says, hey, I'm done. My muscles just shut down on me and I just literally can't get out of bed for days. And that's what happened. But anyway, I'm starting to feel better and ready to roll. And that makes me super excited to be back here and ready to build something awesome once again with you guys. So yeah, like I said, I'm feeling better now, and I apologize for, of course, not having any videos. I wish I could like pre-record more in case of things like this. I used to be able to do that a little bit more, but with the length of episodes these days, it's very difficult to do that anymore, unfortunately. So when I go down, unfortunately, there's no videos, but we're back now and we're ready to roll. And what I've been told is a message has been delivered from the Impulse of the SV at my landscape shop for a little bit of landscaping work over at his lost city of Atlantis. So let's fly on over there and check that out. Welcome to the community area. And one of the things I was looking around this place just a moment ago was that we still have all of the Christmas ornaments hanging from the trees. And every time I want to take these down, I get a little bit sad because I absolutely love the little axe and the diamond and the sword. Look at the sword. And you can't forget the cat. Look at how delightful that cat face is. But it definitely all needs to come down eventually. But no, I keep forgetting and I keep putting it off because that cat is so cute. It just looks down on everyone. But anyway, looks down. That's a true fact. Like, cats do look down on you, right? You know, if you were smaller, that cat would eat you, right? But we still love them anyway. But yeah, welcome to Scar's landscaping shop. And Impulse apparently has left us a book here. Okay, this one's different, so I suppose this might be the one he left. Let's take a look. Okay, perfect. I am going to check my back. There we go. All right. Need 4 custom trees in Atlantis inside the 4 Domes Center. Please contact me for further information. Impulse SV. See, you know it was the real Impulse because it was the SV. All right, so let me contact Impulse and see what kind of trees and what kind of designs he is looking for. But he has come to the right place because here at Scar's landscaping shop, we have only the finest bark and leaves. Welcome back, and now that we have instructions from Impulse, we can start working on our project today. So I've been gathering a lot of different leaves here. So we've got the birch and we've got the oak. And now I've been using, let's see, I've been using a couple new designs for oak trees, which I'm excited that Impulse wanted those updated, and I can finally show it to you guys, so I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, I got lots of boxes of the different materials. I've even got a little bit of spruce just in case we want to throw in a spruce in one of the 4 different locations, but I'm kind of leaving that maybe off to the side just because I want to keep things maybe consistent between oak and birch leaves. And yeah, another box of mixed leaves, and there should be like one more. There we go. I think I have enough birch leaves, but I'm a little bit concerned about my quantity of oak leaves, but I think we'll probably be okay. So let's pack all this stuff up and head back to the lost city of Atlantis. Welcome back, and look at how epic Impulse's base is with that sunset rising over the Vex Time hourglass. I love this place. This place is so awesome. But let's fly up to the top. And we got the 4 systems, or the 4 domes, not systems, on either end here. So let's start with this one right here. and we'll fly on into here and let's start planning this out. So I don't know if Impulse wants me to change out the red and yellow McDonald's flowers or not. I forgot to ask him. I totally would if this was my base, but I'm not going to mess with it. So we need to drop down our boxes here and start getting going. So let me actually throw down one. Hopefully, nope, wrong box. Come on, give me some oak. Never what you want. Let's see. Okay, thank you. Let me grab a couple of you. Okay, so what I'm thinking about, and I'm going to spend a couple more minutes here just planning out a little bit more, is that we are going to start here with a bit of like a really old oak tree, right? Very spindly, like an ancient tree. So you can really tell by kind of the way the structure of the tree is going to be built in a way that it kind of dangles down. So that's going to be the first tree. I know Impulse had mentioned that he was kind of open maybe for a weeping willow. So that'll be fun. So we could do like a weeping willow or a whomping willow, if you will. And so we have two more then. We got two more decisions there. And then as for the birch, that's where I'm excited about, because this is where I have new designs for trees that I cannot wait to show you guys. And that tree tutorial, we totally need to do that. Like, we've got to get that done. So yeah, I'm excited about these things. I don't think he wanted me to do any other landscaping in terms of, you know, just like putting plants or anything down along here. So we're just going to stick to the trees. And yeah, I'm excited about this. So I'm going to throw down my shulker boxes and think about this just a little bit more, because yeah, I want this to be perfect, so I need a little bit more thinking on the design. All right, welcome back. We've got the shulker boxes set up. So I put them here in the center because it's kind of in the middle of everything, and especially the birch trees that we're going to be working on. So each one of these kind of pedestals that we're going to be building the trees on is then attached to these really cool shapes that come down into the water. So we've got to make sure that these designs are absolutely perfect, because we want to highlight that. So let's get busy here. Now, Impulse wanted these pretty much directly in the center here. So I believe this light is the dead center of the design. Now, I do need to move the light, and I kind of want to save it. Nope. Come on now. All right, let's jump down there. We don't want to lose this thing. Come on now, fella. Come on, come on. There we go. Whoa. Whoa, okay. Was not expecting Shadow Man back here. It's Shadow Man, the newest Avenger in the series. Shadow Man, defending the, what is that down there? Defending the crops. He's the crop defender. I like Shadow Man. He's my new favorite superhero. How do I get out of here, Shadow Man? I can't get out. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Shadow Man gave me a little boost. He, gave me a little boost there, and I appreciate that, Shadow Man. Okay, so wait, which one was the one? Was it this one, or was that the center? I think it's this one. All right, let's not goof around anymore. So let's get busy with this. So what we're going to try to do is make a design that, let's see, let me back this off just a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna put one there. And I know this looks a little bit goofy, but believe me, having this double jump is also quite nice. We're going to start kind of raising it up like that. So we start kind of a base like that, and then it starts to kind of expand upwards. So I think that's going to be a good design, but I want to beef up each one of these segments just a little bit more. I love this double boost here. This is great. And what we can do is then dig down just a little bit here to create a bit of a root structure. And that's something that's always a little bit missed in a lot of tree designs, is don't forget about the root structures. Make this thing really feel like it's part of the land, right? You want this to be attached to the earth that's below it. So that's always a good way to really improve a tree design, is by doing that, and always having plenty of beautiful dirt with you, because you never know when you're gonna need it. So see that shape going up there? I'm kind of loving that. That's looking really, really nice. So that's kind of the idea with the tree is this is a very old and mysterious tree. And that's why it's a bit spindly. So we're gonna run this up to about here. I think that's probably good for the trunk. And then once again, we can, click on here like that, and just use some of that to give it a little bit more heft, if you will. And then like over here, you could stick out a couple more of these pieces like that, heading off into other directions like that. So I think that's looking decent. So if I kind of push up and then bring this to here, and then let's take a look at how that's looking. Okay, so at this point right now, it's a little bit too thick right here, because I don't think the tree could be on this angle without like snapping. So what we could do now is kind of ease it off a little bit. So what we can do is maybe kind of break this block, so we can kind of shape this a little bit more. And it's all about shaping, really. is just finding the right shapes in the design to make it feel realistic. And it always will look a little off. So when you look at a tree like this, if you're making one along with me here, is the tree will always look a little off until you put leaves on it. So always keep that in mind. Like, it might look absolutely awful until you put those leaves on there. Boy, I love this double jump. This is fantastic. I'm in love with this thing right now. So yeah, always keep that in mind, because sometimes you might actually have a really good structure. It just looks weird because you don't have any leaves or any branches on it yet. So always keep that in mind so you don't burn down your tree that's actually pretty darn awesome. So yeah, I think this is a good shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start from here building upwards. And then the second phase of adding leaves will be adding little danglers hanging down on each end. So always start kind of with a big puffy center and then add the little dangly branches on the last. Don't do that first, because it's kind of like painting, right? You don't want to put the whiskers of the dog on before you actually draw the dog, right? So always keep that in mind. So let's make the substructure here of the leaves, and then we can work on all the little detail leaves like the dangly pieces. Welcome back, and I got a little carried away with the tree, as I usually do, and I started working on some of the detail here. And like I told you before about getting the leaves on, it makes the trunk of the tree feel a little bit more part of it, and I think that's accomplished here, as it looked a little awkward in our last clip, and now it looks a little bit more like it's part of the whole ecosystem of the tree. So we got to work on the back a little bit here. And yeah, I think this is coming out fairly well. And as I'm kind of working on this tree, I'm more thinking about actually what my next trees are going to be, because I don't want to make each one look the same, but also you want them to look relatively the same because they're all kind of part of the same thing, right? I think that's always the tricky thing, and maybe even with my own base with the skyscrapers, is you want things to have a cohesive theme, like it's all part of the same thing, but all be unique, right? It's a bit of a challenge, because in the end you usually just kind of get the same looking thing, but the real like trick there is to try to make it look unique but all part of the same ecosystem. So I think that's starting to look fairly good. So all this is pretty much just scaffold up, you know, connect with a branch and then work it down, you know, slowly work it down. Now I think on the back here we're going to have the branches be a little bit higher up than in the front. Just to give it a little bit of a difference in design. And another thing you can look towards sometimes is where the sun direction is. So the tree might lean towards the sun, or maybe wind direction, right? If maybe you're making a canyon, and make the trees kind of bend to one direction as if the wind is blowing the trees. So where I live, the wind is very, very strong. So the trees all a little bit crooked and sad looking because they're just blasted with wind from the gorge. So you just gotta kind of think of all the little things when it comes to trees. This has been the tree episode, by the way. We've been tree crazy this entire episode, but these are always the questions that I get a lot. So I'm just trying to kind of answer some of them because of course we're making trees here. But yeah, I hope you guys are liking this design so far. And I have a question for you in the comments. Let me know what tree designs, say you have a favorite tree. In season 6, I want to do more trees. I want to know from you guys, and of course my tree tutorial that's coming, I promise you. It hasn't been 2 years since I told you I was going to do it at all, right? But in the comments, like, totally tell me what kind of trees you like and if you want me to try to tackle that particular design. Because in Minecraft, it's very easy to make a spruce tree. It's incredibly easy to make an oak tree. But when you get, you know, very specific trees, like one of my all-time favorite trees in the world is a Japanese maple tree, you know, that's a little more difficult to do in vanilla Minecraft. So yeah, let me know in terms of tree designs that you guys like and you want to see replicated in the Minecraft. So yeah, let me know. But I'm loving this tree. I think that is really, really cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop onto the top. I'm just going to expand the top just a little bit more. And I think we're almost going to be able to call this tree good. Like, I'm really liking this. First tree is now done. So let's fly into the dome and talk about this one. So I like the trunk. I think the branches are good. I feel like it's a solid tree. The things that need to be improved with the tree, I would say, would be the size. I think the next ones need to be a little bit bigger and fill in the space a bit more, because there is a little bit of empty space still at the top. So maybe about 20% bigger, I think would be nice. We can always come back and make it just a little bit more puffy. We could give it a bit more of a puff, but generally I like it. So let's fly over to our next location for our next tree. And this is the one that I think we'll try to make a little bit of a willow tree. So we'll fly on in inside here. And once again, we'll start at this location here. And I think I'm just going to leave this down. Like, I'd rather not go get lost down under the underground regions again. So Willow Tree, right? So this tree is going to be way more straight. So it's going to be way more straight, not the little curves that the other tree had. And you can kind of see where I was talking about maybe making it just a little bit bigger to fill in that top portion of the dome a little bit. I think one of the main things we could do is just make the trunk just a little bit bigger. So we're going to start very basic with the trunk, just very basic shape going straight up, getting a little bit smaller as it goes along, similar to what we've done with pine trees in the past. So let's put one more block right there. Beautiful. And down below, that's where we can kind of start, you know, just moving things around a little bit. Moving some of the blocks, let's actually change that one out. Let's put this one up there just a little bit. Very nice. Oh my, I do like this one. Very nice. Okay, so let's push this one up just a little bit. So yeah, like I said, trunks look terrible at the beginning. When you get the leaves on, things start to look a little bit nicer. So I think that's looking pretty cool. I still would really like to put some vines around, right? Get some, not vines itself, but use leaves for vines, right? And start putting those, maybe even wrap around the columns. But Impulse didn't say that. It's not my base, so I can't do it. But yeah, sometimes I get carried away sometimes and I almost started doing it. And I'm like, oh, hold on there, Scar. Impulse did not give you that direction. All right, there we go. And let's scaffold our way down a little bit. So yes, so this is where we can start kind of making some extra little shapes in some of these branches a little bit, just to give it a little bit more texture, a little bit more definition. So I think those are going to look fairly good. It just needs a lot more refinement, right? Just kind of getting phase one of the trunk settled. And then we can start working on other phases of it, of course. We'll push this one up here just a little bit, and then we'll bring that down like so. Usually try to always overlap by one instead of kind of meeting right at the corners like that. So I generally try to do that, so at least there's one block overlap generally, but there are cases when having these things meet up just at the corners. So if this met up like right there, that's okay. But sometimes it's better to keep it from doing that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this up a little bit higher. I'm gonna start branching out the branches. So they're gonna start, well, branching out. I guess that didn't make any sense what I just said, but that's okay. So start kind of pushing them outwards and then start applying the leaves. Now the leaves are going to be a little bit more in splotches, so they're going to be a little bit more like a chunk of leaves, and then they hang down from there. A little different from the other one. So let me start seeing how this will work. And another tree now complete here. So this one kind of turned back into the design we had originally, where this one was a little bit different when we first started, right? The design of the trunk was quite a bit different. And as I kind of evolved it, it kind of reverted back to the way the other one looked a bit. So I don't know. I really like it from this angle. Like this angle looks fantastic. So what I did differently with this one is that I decided not to make them as much dangly, right? So I added that component, or at least I took that component away and made it a little bit taller and skinnier, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, because I think in the end, kind of maintaining this kind of old oak feel, it kind of almost feels like kind of like a Greek, like kind of like a little bit of Greek feeling a bit. And I think that's kind of a general style that's consistent throughout this particular build. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. One design that I was thinking about for a tree was maybe an olive tree. That would be pretty cool. That's why I did bring the acacia. But I'm not sure we're going to do it or not, because I do love my olive tree design. We've done a little bit in Scarlandia, just a smidge bit. But yeah, we need to start another one here. And I was thinking about my like ultimate tree designs if I had the option, right? If good old Mojang came to me and was like, Scar, what kind of tree would you dream of? And I'd be like, oh, I want a dead tree. Of all trees and all trees in the world, I want a dead tree. Thank you, Mojang, very much. That's totally my dream. My dream is a dead tree. I mentioned this many times on stream, yeah, a dead tree is my dream. And where it would be found within the existing biomes, right? It's just a fallen tree. That's all it is. It's a dried out log, and you can take it, and it's a very kind of grayish, whitish wood, you know, very dried wood. And I would love that, because it would make rustic buildings so much more fun, especially if you're making abandoned things, like having that old dried log. Oh, it would be a dream. It would be a dream. It would be a dream tree. That's my dream tree. Anyway, you know, I do want a palm tree. As you know, it's my arch enemy of trees is a palm tree. And I'd like a palm tree. That would be pretty cool. For a palm tree, I was thinking there was a particular style wood that I was thinking about for that. I forgot the actual color, but I had it planned out in my head at one point. I've been playing Minecraft for a long time, guys. Sometimes this stuff just disappears in my mind. Oh man, I've truly been playing Minecraft a while. I remember the first time I brought up my tree desires, like what I wanted in terms of trees for new biomes when they were adding them prior to 1.7, was I wanted a savanna, and I wanted those really cool trees. I don't know what they're called, but their trunks are massive, but then the leaves at the top, they're like little tiny little leaves up there. They're very silly. I wanted that tree. Unfortunately, as I've mentioned before, I forgot the name of that tree and the color of the particular wood that I wanted the palm tree to be in. But those particular trees and the standard savanna tree, which we got, but I think we could do better with those. I wish they could redesign them, but palm trees. And we were building my tree farm in my survival world at the time. Haha, I remember that, 2012. Man, we've been building and making stuff in Minecraft a long time for sure. But yeah, I like how Minecraft is always evolving, right? It's always evolving and changing. That's why I still continue to play it, because there's always something different and unique to explore within building, right? And as long as they keep adding new things with the new update coming out, Hash Slabs is coming in 1.14. Whew, so much cool stuff on the way. Anyway, this trunk's pretty ugly, so I'm gonna continue to work on it. I'm gonna work on the other one over there, and then eventually we're gonna get to those new birch tree designs. So let me work on this a little longer, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, and we now have all 4 of the tree domes set up and ready to roll, so they are looking super fancy. And this was the one that we were starting just as we ended that last clip. So a lot of the trees, I'd like to thicken them up a little bit, just make them a little bit more bushy. I'm glad we've got all of them at least down, and you know, a general good structure for the trunk of the tree, but I definitely still want to make them a little bit thicker in terms of its leaves and its canopy. But I think each one has gotten a little bit bigger. Like I said, with the trunk, like this part right here is a little bit iffy. I want to maybe change some of that. But I am glad this one does reach towards the top of the structure. And each one's a little different. Like this one's a little bit shorter, but a little bit wider down at the bottom. And then this one, of course, is really tall and then skinny. So yeah, each one has its own unique looks, which is nice for each one of the tree domes. So I'm quite pleased with that, my friends. So now we need to turn our attention towards the birch. That is right. We need to start working on the birch tree. So this is a tree design that I have not worked on very much, and I'm really looking forward to kind of experimenting with some ideas that have been buzzing about in my head. So we're gonna start getting going with that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take down each one of these and replace a tree directly where this one stands and where each one of them stands. So we're gonna build these guys up, and they're gonna be a little bit more what I feel like a birch tree actually looks like in the real world. Whereas, you know, in the real world, these things aren't just straight and boxy like this. You know, they got a little curves, got a little action to them. So yeah, let me get set up here, and I guess we're gonna have to take down each one. So we're gonna need some shears and some other supplies. So let me grab that, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, and the base looks so cool, especially from way up in the air. But let's get working here. We're gonna start right by the fountain, and we're gonna chop down this tree and rebuild this thing. So let's just cut this all the way out. Got the shears all lined up and are ready to go. So yeah, each one of these trees, like I said, I want to be somewhat unique, but still kind of retain the same kind of design, because it would be the same species of tree, of course. I have a question for you real quick before we start. Where does Impulse catch some Z's? Like, where does he sleep around here? I've looked for a bed high and low throughout this base, and I have not found one single bed. So yeah, let me know, guys. Where does Impulse sleep around here? Like, I'm a sleeping man. I need to catch my sleep. But I got nowhere to sleep, so I've been just having to work through the nights a little bit. I usually don't like recording in the night, but yeah, well, we had to do what we had to do because we had some work to do here. So this is kind of what I want to do. I just want to kind of spindle it around a little bit. Now, generally a birch tree is very straight and very skinny, but I want to give it a little bit more character with a few of these kind of like little curves to it. I think that's going to look very, very nice. But yeah, like I said, generally birches are very skinny, and they have very like very, very thin leaves. They're actually a really cool tree, very nice looking tree. So put that right down there. And yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I think that's fine. So what we could do now, let's just shoot up to the top. And from here, we're going to try to keep these things fairly spindly like an actual birch. So we're just going to kind of start building out a little bit up here. We're not going to make these things super bushy. These aren't going to be a big bushy tree. So that's kind of my goal with this a little bit. But I think the height of this is going to be really nice. It's going to really complement the other buildings very nice, instead of just a very short, you know, standard birch that comes in Minecraft. But yeah, I'd love to see a tree overhaul in Minecraft, like complete tree overhaul. That would be cool. If we're going to do textures, if you guys are going to do the textures, Mojang, well, I want a tree overhaul then. I want a full tree overhaul. Add a little bit more life, a little bit more realism to the trees. That'd be super sweet. But still maintaining, you know, the quirky nature of Minecraft. And that's half Minecraft's charms, the quirky nature. Why an oak tree drops an apple. Like, some of that stuff's just fun. That's just the nature of Minecraft. That silly kind of playful design. Anyway, let's shoot down here and see how this is looking. Okay. This looks really bad. This looks actually terrible, but believe me, we're gonna make this look good. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this down probably this length from here to here, probably down to here again. So maybe half that length. I think that'd be pretty cool. Add a couple little dangly pieces. And yeah, I think that'd be cool. The next ones I think might be a little bit shorter than this one, but other than that, I think this is looking good. I think that is a pretty solid design for a birch tree for now. Like I said, each one of them kind of evolves from one another, and you can kind of learn as you go along. Like, I totally expect at the time I make it to the end, I'll have a completely other perspective on the design. But for now, I think this is pretty good. Like, I'm really enjoying it. And it kind of goes back to what I said at the very beginning of the video is the trunks always look so awkward and ugly. But once you add a little hat of leaves on top of them, everything just comes together and start looking absolutely beautiful. All right, so let's clean up our scaffolding, and we need to move on to our next tree or next victim. So yeah, we gotta take down this tree now and start working on these. So we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, probably 6, 7, 8. So maybe about 8, or I suspect probably more than that to go. So let me finish all these up, and we'll have a grand tree tour at the end. Doesn't that sound awesome? Sounds pretty awesome to me. Welcome back, and as you guys can see, all of the trees are installed, custom birch trees. This is one of the relatively the first time I've really ever done a custom birch tree. I've done a few little things, especially in my survival world with birch, but never really did a very big, design with them. But I'm pretty pleased with them. Of course, there are some things that I instantly can see that I want to change, like over here. This one's got kind of like a little bit of a slope on the left side, and on the right side it's a little bit of a sheer drop. So, kind of clean that up a little bit. But that's the thing with anything of this nature with design, is that it's always good to step back for a little while and come back with fresh eyes. And I can already see quite a few little things that I want to change on each of the trees. But other than that, I'm pretty pleased with it. And I want to hear from you. What do you think of this design? Like, what do you think you can improve upon? What could we do better with the design? Things along those lines. Yeah. I'm liking it, but I know we can do better. So yeah, I think in the next season of HermitCraft and stuff like that, we can continue to evolve those designs. And let's shoot on inside here. And we've got all of these amazing old ancient oak trees here in each one of the tree domes. And I think these came out really nice, and I never can leave anything. I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna thicken these trees up a little bit. I am getting very low on oak leaves, so we'll get some more oak leaves and we'll thicken up the top branches a little bit more with that. And I think they'll be really awesome, and hopefully Impulse likes it. And I want to know from you guys, did you guys get any good tree tips? People are always asking, Scar, can I get some tree tips from you? I tried to give them in this video. Just little things that I do when I'm working on the trees and stuff like that. So hopefully it was able to inspire you or help you with your own tree designs. And if you got any cool landscaping designs that you're working on right now, shoot it to me on Twitter. I'd love to see it. So you can find my Twitter in the link in the description, and shoot me some tree designs that you're working on or landscapes. I'd love to take a look at them. And until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And if you believe the video deserved a rating, that would be very much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later. Don't forget to subscribe, because you may just become scarred for life.